I need some of that to get me going today. I absolutely love waking up early on the homestead. I don't set an alarm because I did my time working and raising kids, and now I'm on my own time. So I could sleep in if I wanted to, but I don't want to. This is the best time of day. And so I thought, we are under flood watch. Yeah. The last time I communicated, I think it was on my community page. Communicate on the community page. If you're not checking the community page, I'm posting there almost every day. So make sure that you're seeing that in your feed. And if you're not, you'll have to go to my homepage and find out what's going on, because I am non-techie and I don't know why it appears in some people's feeds and not in others. I don't know. At any rate, you know, I just had this overwhelming thought on my mind today. It's like, how much more can we take? It started with all this rain, and I thought, how much more can the garden take? And we were supposed to have 8 straight days. We've had some breaks. In fact, yesterday, it was threatening most of the day, but I don't think it even rained yesterday. But I have literally got hundreds of plants waiting to go into the garden. And today, we're going to have storms. Well, good morning. You're early. That looks like a carpenter bee. When bees are more interested in your wooden furniture than your plants, your flowers. Anyway, how much more can we take was sort of the theme I woke up with, and I thought, you know, maybe you're feeling that way too. You know how just one piece of information can kind of put you over the edge? Well, there were lots of pieces of information too. Excuse me, too. Yesterday especially. But one I just thought, with so many people struggling and the dollar dying and everything looks like a war. I mean, invasion, there's just so much pressure right now. Okay, this bee is going to try to upstage me. I could get out the hose. Anyway, I saw last night that the former Speaker of the House, who just was awarded one of those, I guess, presidential medals of honor or something like that. I just saw this. I haven't double checked to see if it's true or anything. She had amassed another 7 million in the last week. And of course we know that this is through the stock market, and it's not legal for the congresspeople to be making all this money on, shall we say, inside information. But, you know, how else do you find out about so many good deals? She was already worth 200 million. And so that just sort of set me off, because I know that there are a lot of people struggling. And just, I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. Okay, so I had this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful UPS delivery man. I happen to be out, and this other driver gets out of the UPS truck the other day and says, so we start talking, and this used to be his route, and that he had gone off and done another route, and that UPS every 2 years or 4 years or something, they give them an opportunity to bid on a route. And so he bid on this route, and at the same time, he told me that my guy decided to start driving the big trucks. So that's called something when you go from facility and you drive the big trucks to a facility. It's called something, and the pay is better, and he's raised his boys to a certain point, and so he wanted to do that. But this guy was saying that he and his wife, he said, we don't have any kids, and it takes every dollar and they both work, every dollar we make to make it. And I just thought, at one time we had a middle class. It's hard for people to believe that now. We had a thriving middle class, and that is being systematically destroyed. When I grew up, the mothers stayed home and took care of the children. The children, for the most part, were well behaved. Of course they did pranks and things like that. My father told me on Halloween one time when he was growing, he was 13, I think. And they, as a prank, they pushed over someone's outhouse. Okay, that's not very nice, but look at today. You turn on the internet, and just the young people are just going crazy, just crashing cars and beating each other up, and it's just like, oh, what happened? Well, I know what happened, but it's a long story, and I can't get that all in today. I took the four-wheeler around during a break yesterday, and I just snapped a few pictures, and I had just told the mower, get back over here. The weeds are out of control. And my friend Jamie in Kentucky said that she and her husband encountered 2 full-size copperheads a couple of days ago. They have a pond. I don't have a pond. I won't be getting a pond. And I was out yesterday picking up hay. I cleaned them out. Randy, the man who's been largely responsible for me having a garden the last 22 and 23. One year, he and his father killed 17 diamond rattlebacks. Rattlesnakes. Right, he goes right out there, right in there. And I'm going, okay. And he said, but if you go down the hill where there's a creek, he said, it's full of copperheads. And I'm going, okay, I can't take that. So as much as I love weeds, and as much as my clover is just, it's insane. The red clover and the white clover is just absolute. It's all stunning. I'm in love with plants. This whole side over here that I forest mulched in 21, had it done, obviously. Unless you keep this bush hogged, it'll be right back. It'll be just dense thicket with just the worst kind of stuff, like poison ivy and the Cali pear, Bradford pear, and thorn bush, and just, you couldn't even put your tiny little toe in that whole mess over there behind the cistern when I moved here. So I had it all cleared out, almost to the property line. The last 2 years I spread wildflower seeds, and people said, Kaye, they're never going to take because the existing weeds are going to snuff them out. They won't be able to push through all of the existing weeds. So I thought, well, okay. So I just last year I started mowing. When I got this new mower, I started having him mow it. As soon as the Miami mist has finished, remember the Miami mist? A sea of Miami mist at the bottom. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. So as soon as that finished, last year I said, okay, just mow the whole thing except for my new squash bed. Because squash bugs are so horrible. Randy says, don't even put squash in your lower garden. Don't even do it, because they like other plants too. And so I put all the squash over there, the winter squash over there on the side, and it was all perfect. It was hay suppressing the weeds, and then I had it all laid out, and yeah, I didn't get a whole lot out of that. The better squash that I got was the volunteer squash in the side garden. The monster thing. I've got one left. It's the small one. The rest of it's in the freezer. Anyway, yesterday, I'm driving around and I'm looking. You know, when I first started Late Bloomer, I talked about being observant and being vigilant as two of my LBLs, Late Bloomer lessons. And so I talked about being vigilant, you know. Of course, I never had any weeds, and I had this tiny garden because, you know, weeds are dependent upon rain. Well, guess what? So the weeds have just absolutely exploded. I mean, if you think of the word lush times 10, that's what it is right now. But anyway, I'm driving over there and I go, well, what is that? It's like it's coming up like that. And I'm thinking, I don't recognize that. So I look on my plant app, and people have asked me about my plant app. I use Picture This, but there are others. I can't compare. That's the only one I've used. I discovered that there's some daisies and some, oh gosh, and I can't wait for it to bloom. And so I can show you. It wasn't blooming yet. They weren't blooming yet. Well, I got a lot of Chinese bush clover. I don't think that's a great thing. That's very, I did see a clammy ground cherry. That's not the ground cherry that I'm growing, and I know what it is, and that came out. Sweet William, prettiest little cluster of flowers. And Black-Eyed Susan, you know that came from one of my spreading of the wildflower seeds. And Shasta Daisy. And wild bergamot. I have wild bergamot sent to me from Sharon at Sharon's Natural Gardens, you know, that came back. It never got planted. It's in a pot on the driveway. And I've got it growing wild over here. I've got wild bergamot growing wild. And I've got tall fescue, which it said it's non-invasive, so I think, well, it's really pretty. It's kind of airy-fairy, and, you know, it's all in seed, and I go, fescue is good. Let it drop the seeds, you know, fill in the grass. So yeah, that's what I was just thinking, you know, how much rain can we take? How much rain can the garden take? How much can the people take of what's going on? Something's going to have to break somewhere, and I don't know what it's going to be, and I don't know if any of us are prepared for it. I don't think I am, and I've been preparing for 3 years. Yeah, and there's another thing I wanted to cover, and that is, I don't know what kind of videos I'm going to be making, and I'd love your input. But the work videos, they don't do well. Usually my garden tour videos, especially with cats, and my video I just uploaded on Sunday has not done well. And I know that there's a core of 2,000 people that really like my videos, really appreciate my work, and watch them all. But, you know, I that puts $20 in my pocket. So I need to be able to pay my helper to realize all this. So obviously, as people have told me for years, you can't do it all. Cut back, scale back, do a smaller thing. I thought, let me go out one big time, you know, with all the gardens just being beautiful. So I was going to try to do that. But I have to figure out what, you know, where to focus my videos, because I need to get views. Medicinal plants have been my best, but then my comfrey video, which I worked so hard on, planned to do for a long time. Oh my gosh, it took me 2 days to make that video, and I think I've made $20. So it's just like, let me know your thoughts, because I'd like some direction. I know people don't come to my channel for current events. I do follow current events. But many other people, actual news outlets, independent news outlets, cover all of that. And so, and do it better than I can do it. So let me know what you think. I'm going to be waiting for the storms today. My plan was today to leave a few plants sitting out, but I've got 200 plants, and I don't want them getting beat up or blown up to the forest or something. And all of this needs to go in the ground, but the garden is mud. And I got out during a break before this last deluge, and I planted the corn, and oh my gosh, it was, the horses, I'm just going to show you one picture. The horses were right behind on the other hill, you know, the two horses that live across the road now. I just thought, get out there and get it done. Before the rain comes again, it'll get rained in, because the first corn, the painted Wapsi flower corn, you know, it was up like not quite a half an inch that day. And so I thought, oh, golly. Oh, there's so much work to do. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, for being with me on this channel, and God bless you. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Subscribe if you haven't, and let me know what you'd like to see from this channel. See you next time. This is from Jack, who is a friend of the Late Bloomer channel. I'm becoming very concerned about a major severe weather outbreak in Tennessee today and tonight. Multiple rounds of storms, which means multiple waves of tornadoes and damaging winds potentially. This is an event to take extremely seriously. Straight line wind gusts, 70 to 80 miles per hour. Hail larger than golf balls, never seen that. Several tornadoes, some EF2 plus, flash flooding. With that kind of winds, I think I better just gather up all the plants and at least get them on the porch. All right, I got work to do. Thank you. God bless. Pray. This actually does need water. Oh, wow! Can't even lift this. Holy smokes.